Desperate things call for desperate measures. In today's cautionary tale, I share why that is always not such a good thing. This one is going to be scandalous. Hello, and welcome. You are listening to the Manifest on Purpose show. I am your host, Kimbaley. I am here to help you elevate to another level of consciousness, and I do that by inspiring you to manifest on purpose. Now is the time to take charge of your life. Thank you so much for being so interested in doing that for yourself that you decided to join me today. Thank you for all of those you've invited. Thank you for taking the time to subscribe here and on my website at Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. And I do what I do simply because the God in me loves the God in you. Today, we're going to talk about some desperate measures. But before we get into that, let's hear our Astro-Numerology forecast, courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. It is Wednesday, May the 29th. The sun is in Gemini. The moon is in Aquarius. It's a 4 universal month, a 8 universal week, a 6 universal day. The more you are able to pay attention to the smallest details today, the better you're likely to do when it comes to looking at the big picture. Additionally, perhaps a change or shift in your dietary laws may prove beneficial towards better health. Finally, if you're able to add a little exercise or related enhancement to your overall well-being, you'll have the best of both worlds. Taurus, Libra, and those born on the 6th, 15th, and 24th of any month should take the lead in this regard. Once again, this is the Astro-Numerology forecast, courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. You can get your forecast every day. Go to astar8.com. That is ASTAR, the number 8.com. You can also download it on Google Play, the App Store, or you can go to Linktree/numbers and you. Strengthen your manifestation practice with a little numerology. What I mean by that is when you know your key numbers, those numbers that are most important to you, along with the months and what to expect throughout the year, you know when to set intentions to manifest your desire. You can do that by getting your personal report where you will get your key numbers, your best months, and your best days. And you can also use your yearly forecast to help you determine when would be the best times for you to manifest throughout the year according to your numbers. Make sure you also pick up a copy of your compatibility report so that you won't have to go through the same thing that I'm going to be talking about in today's story, and pick up your business report as well so that you can manifest in your business. You can get all of those reports at Kimbaley.com, KIMBALEY.com. Now let's get into this scandalous story. On the day that should have been one of the most happiest days in Lori's life, she lay in that hard hospital bed weeping of loneliness. Her family gathered around the bed, filled with excitement as they welcomed baby boy Watson to the family. Even this didn't dry her tears. The only thing that could dry her tears that day is if Tony would have popped up, surprised her, and take on his rightful role as a father. But she knew deep down inside, Tony couldn't do that. To avoid the crowd of Lori's huge family, I jumped into the car and rushed right over to Lori's house as soon as she told me that her and baby boy Watson had made it home. The attention was on the baby for the first few minutes of my arrival at best. The sadness in her eyes was like an invitation into her soul. I knew she needed someone to talk to. For about an hour, I listened to Lori vent about Tony not being there for the baby because he had another family. Within that 1 hour, I noticed that sadness turned to anger. She just didn't feel it was fair to her. But on the other hand, she explained, "But I love him." Near the end of that rant, I saw a smile creep on her face, and I was happy that she was feeling a little better. Maybe she just needed to get it all out. With that, she then jumped out of her seat and began to speed through the house, getting ready to leave. I asked her, "Where are you going? And why are you in such a rush?" She came and sat down beside me and looked straight into my eyes. She said, "You're not going to believe me when I tell you where I'm going." Getting a little agitated now, I drove all the way over there to see her, and now she's preparing to leave. I said, "Well, tell me anyway. Where are you going?" With that same eerie grin on her face, she said, "I'm going to see Doc Jones." In shock, I asked, "What? You talking about the root doctor?" She said, "Yep." In fact, she went on to tell me this chilling story. She had already been to see Doc Jones and told him that she wanted Tony to be her man. Doc Jones warned her that if she goes through with this, she'll get Tony, but he would never be the same man again. In fact, he refused to perform the work until Lori had clearly thought about it for 24 hours. Now, just in case you don't know what a root doctor is, back where I'm from, that's what you would call practitioners of black magic. In the area that I grew up in, these arts were taboo, and a lot of people knew of root work from hoodoo. And so they just call everything that was of the black arts root work. And the practitioners would be called root doctors or witch doctors. Yep, and I knew Doc Jones. He was legendary in the town close to where I lived. He was no doubt the best man to do the job. For most of my life growing up, I've heard rumors about Doc Jones. And in fact, my parents and many other parents warned their children to stay away. So you can imagine what was going through my mind as I was thinking about what Lori had just told me. My mind was questioning, "Girl, are you crazy?" But the creepy grin on her face somehow confirmed, "Yes, she is." I was at a loss for words. With that, I got up off the sofa, said my goodbyes, and left because I knew from that conversation she was desperate for that man. After all Desperate things calls for desperate measures. It wasn't long after that Lori called me to announce she purchased a new home. And surprise, Tony left his family and moved in with her to create a new family. Lori had finally got her man. I remember visiting her once. You see, the strange thing about the story is that Tony and I were also friends. But just as fast as the new move took place, Lori began calling me more. Her and Tony were having problems, and I mean major problems. Lori was tired of him and didn't know what to do. I reminded her of what Doc Jones told her. She would get him, and she did, but he wouldn't be the same. And he wasn't the same person to her. You see, it was kind of easy for Tony to pretend when he was not around Lori that much. With them living together, it revealed the good, bad, and ugly in Tony. Truth be told, Lori was getting sick of Tony and frustrated because it was even harder to get him out than it was to get him in. Again, she found herself in another desperate situation. I can remember as a child when things didn't go my way, I began to pray. Now don't judge it. That's what myself and many other people were taught. Silently raise your hand if you've ever known someone who only prays when times are desperate. I used to say, Lord, please help me get through this one. And I would end up with a whole bunch of promises in exchange, of course, to get out of that situation. A lot of people do that. The word desperation is defined by Merriam-Webster as a state of hopelessness leading to rashness. Just so you know, another way to say rashness is impulsiveness. The laws of the universe don't change. What you put out into it returns. We're living in the microwave age now. More and more society seeks instant gratification. Fast food, instant coffee, fast cars, speed dating, and instant results. Everything has speeded up to a faster pace. But at what cost? Desperation is an energy that lacks patience. It's that energy where someone wants something so bad, they do anything to get it. They want it no matter what the cost is. And that's definitely what you get in return. Have you ever noticed when you are in a rush, things don't seem to go as planned? Well, that's the energy of desperation. I teach on the Manifest on Purpose show not to focus on manifesting the things so much. Place your focus on manifesting the life that attracts the things. Some people can't align with their desire because they wait until something is needed to try to manifest it. As stated in the definition, desperation is a state of hopelessness, meaning the person has already given up, and as a lifeline, they want to try to manifest or pray. There's a contradiction here. If you are already in a state of hopelessness, it means that you are in disbelief. You can't manifest what you want in disbelief. However, you will manifest something. You will manifest more of what made you hopeless in the first place. Desperate things calls for desperate measures. Lori found that out the hard way. She chose a form of magic to manifest even though the practitioner gave her a serious warning. She was desperate enough to try anything. She really wanted that man, and she got him too. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Taking that desperate measure led her right back into desperation. Desperation to get rid of him this time. I haven't heard from her since, and I seriously doubt that her and Tony are still together. As for you, don't be like Lori. Manifest on purpose. Create a strategy for your life. Become a conscious creator so you don't have to manifest from a state of desperation. I know this story was about a relationship, but I'm not just talking about relationships here. I'm talking about everything in your life. Take a moment to ask yourself, are you manifesting in desperation? Your results will tell the truth. Desperate and impulsive actions bring about desperate and impulsive results. Be careful what you wish for. You just may get it. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose.